Why do I always feel like I'm off to the side? There we go. Hello. Hello, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully you can see me. Hopefully all is well. Still getting used to the new setup. But we're getting better. We're getting there. Oh, my bangs are doing something crazy right now. Audio is great. Thanks, Anna. Hi, Jules. Hi, Anna. I don't remember if I said hello to you individually. Apologies if I did not. Oh, I am all tangled. Happy Friday. Yes, happy Friday. I hope you all are staying warm. I hope everyone has had a chance to dig yourself out of the snowpocalypse that came through. Hi, Wags. That came through. Hopefully everyone is doing well after that. My nose is running a little. Okay. I'm glad that I have this figured out now. Mostly. Until something new pops up, right? And then I have to refigure it out all over again. So, but that's okay. That's okay. Growth is good. Learning new skills is good. But now you're sick. Oh no, Wags! Stuck inside with your kiddos and they gave you all their germs, huh? You were still digging out. Yeah, our roads and stuff are clear. Oh my gosh, my hair is like, it can't make up its mind. Our roads and stuff are clear, but like my kids have been we're off school all week. We got like 16 inches and then it was bitter cold. And most of your ice is gone, but it's supposed to be like single digits here. Yeah, that is where we're at. So like my kids have been home all week because it was the snow and the ice. We didn't get as much ice. We got a ton of snow. But then it was just the cold. Like our temperatures yesterday morning were literally in the negatives. Like not the feels like, literally negative temperatures outside. So I gotta figure out. There we go. Most of your ice is, yeah. And we were lucky that we were far enough north that we didn't get the ice where we are. We just got a ton of snow. Your snow is just a sheet of ice. Oh, Jules, yuck. It's 7 today. Yeah, it's it got up to 15 right now. That's the highest we've seen in I think the whole week. So yeah, it was miserable, Wags. We were stuck inside. There was nothing, you can't go outside when it's that cold out. Like it's not healthy. It's not good for you. So yeah. It was very cold. Very cold. So well, thank you guys for being here. Thanks for hanging. We're going to talk about characters today. I put it was a heat wave, 15. I put a post in our Patreon asking for ideas for the show, and Vinny suggested we talk a little bit more about where to find different characters. So that's what we're going to talk about today. You injured your hand from shoveling ice and snow. Oh no, Jules, I'm sorry. Hi, Taylor. Happy Friday. Hope everyone is doing well. Oh, I've got my coffee in my happy little Stitch mug with the little birdies on it. Little duckies. To try to keep warm. We ran to Target this morning because I remembered last night, like at dinner time, that my kids still had Christmas money to spend. So we ran to Target this morning to grab them some additional, not that they need any more toys or gifts or anything, but we grabbed them some additional little toys. So they are happily upstairs eating lunch and doing that since they're home today. So luckily, my husband is also home, so I don't have to worry about that, but thank you. I love my ears too. These were like one of the first pairs of ears that I found at like a Burlington. So they were super cheap. And I love them. I think it's so cute. I love the little flower. You can like, it's like bendable. You can like adjust it. I just think it's so cute. You're drinking coffee too. Yes, coffee. Keep them busy gifts. Yeah, exactly. Basically, which I told my husband, I wish I had realized it earlier in the week because that would have been much more helpful when we were all trapped inside because it was so cold outside. But you know, it is what it is, right? So that's okay. That's okay. All right, my friends, shall we get started? Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging. I can't, I'm realizing the one thing that I don't like on here is I can't see how many of you are hanging out. Where do I do that? Oh, wait, here, YouTube Live, control panel. Is that where I see it? That might be where I see it. That might be. There we go. Hi, Rhonda. Enjoy your swim. Okay, let's... Oh, I can't make this any smaller now. Oh, can I make this smaller? Nope. Okay. Okay, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, you guys. Can I switch these? Can I put the chat on this side? Oh, no, I popped the chat out. I didn't want to do that. Go back. Go back. Oh no, I lost the chat. Why is it out here now? This is why I should just not touch these things, you guys. I should know better, shouldn't I? All was well, and then I messed with things. Can I put it on this side? No, it's not going to let me put it on that side. I'm just going to have to put it back where it was. That's okay. That's okay. Oh, well. Okay. Well, I guess I can't have all the things that I want. Okay. There we go. See, I told you I thought I had it figured out. And then I went and messed with things. And then now I don't have it figured out anymore. Okay. Here we go. All right, my friends. We're going to jump in. We're going to talk about characters. Thanks for hanging. Thanks for being here. Yeah, let me make sure my phone is on quiet mode. Now that I'm not streaming on my phone, I have this irrational fear that my phone is going to go off. Okay, beautiful. Okie doke. We're ready. Are we ready? We're ready. Okay. Which button am I pushing? Have fun, Anna. Stay warm. Why did that not go? Aha, there it went. Okay. I hit the start recording and it didn't record and I was like, that's not good. That's not what we want. Okay. Oops. Oh my gosh, you guys. What a mess. Okay. Ugh, hair. Always hair. Oh, this YouTube chat is always so much quieter than the TikTok chat. Kind of freaks me out a little. Okay. Welcome everybody to Mom Street USA. My name is Jackie, aka Wishes Mama, and on today's episode of Mom Street, we are going back to a topic that we've touched on a little bit here and there, but we are going to talk about characters today. So the whole goal is character hunting at Walt Disney World for today's episode, and this episode was actually suggested by one of our lovely viewers, Vinny. I had put up a call for topic suggestions in our Patreon account, and this was one that he suggested. So shout out to Vinny for today's episode topic. But we are going to be talking about where to find characters and what characters are where. So that is the goal of today. Now, there are so many fun characters to find at the Disney parks. It can really truly be hard to keep track of where they all are. So, this episode is aimed to be your guide at the character interactions. Now, keep in mind that if you are looking for tips and tricks to help make your character actions easier, stress free, those types of things. We did that in a recent episode. So if you scroll back in our archives on YouTube or Spotify or wherever you're listening currently to episode 79, we talked about characters and we talked about ways to interact with them and just tips and tricks for that. So if you're looking for that information, head to episode 79. But this episode is going to cover what characters are where as of recording, which it is currently January 30th, 2026. So this is where you can currently find characters. However, things change and things are constantly changing all the time. And when we get to some of these lists down further for the different parks, I'll mention some different things to you about like, oh, this is new or this is coming or things like that. So do keep in mind that things change. Your best bet is going to be to check the Disney World website and to check your My Disney Experience app. Now, a brief word of warning about checking for characters on your My Disney Experience app. If you are checking in the afternoon or evening and just looking to see what characters are around, it's going to look on your app like hardly any characters exist in those parks. That's because the way that Disney does their characters is it has to do with, are they still actively currently meeting at the park? So your best bet is to check for characters around 8 or 9 a.m. if you're looking on your app, because that is when you are going to have the highest chance of seeing all of the characters that meet throughout the day at that park. That is why I also suggest cross-checking it on the website or doing some Googling, looking for current blog articles or lists that are relative to the time frame that you're looking for, because those are going to be able to give you a better big picture of what characters are available where. So I did my best to do that for everybody now, but again, things always change. So keep that in mind as you are looking at characters for your trip. We are going to start with character meals. This is just a quick glance at what characters are where. We're not going to go into what type of food they have or is it the best bang for your buck or, those types of things when it comes to character meals, because we have talked about that previously on Mom Street. Again, we've got 114 episodes in our archive of tons of different topics that we've covered. So if you want more in-depth about character meals, we did a whole episode on that. Go find it in our archives. But this is just going to be which characters are where for the character meals. And then after character meals, we'll jump into the parks and talk about what characters are at which parks. So starting with our character meals, there are, I feel like, far more character meals available than people really realize or remember. So I'm just going to go straight down an alphabetical list here of all of the character meals that are currently being offered at Disney World. So starting with 1900 Park Fare, they are available for breakfast and dinner. And the characters that you can find there are Tiana in her Tiana's Bayou Adventure Explorer outfit, Mirabelle, Cinderella, and Aladdin. At Oscarschuss, and I always say that word wrong, so apologies if that's not how you actually pronounce it, Royal Banquet Hall. I should mention that 1900 Park Fare is at the Grand Floridian. Akershus is at Epcot. They are open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now, they have rotating princesses. So depending on the day that you go and depending on the meal that you go, you may see a different princess here. But they typically have Ariel, Tiana. Now, that would be Tiana in her green princess ball gown. Snow White, Aurora, and Belle. You will occasionally see some other princesses rotate in there, but that's kind of the standard that they choose from for that. Now this next one is the one at Magic Kingdom, and this comes with a little asterisk next to it because it is Be Our Guest at Magic Kingdom. Now, depending on who you're asking, some people will consider this a character meal. Disney does not officially on their website consider this a character meal, nor do I. However, you do get to see the Beast if you eat at Be Our Guest. They are lunch and dinner only, but again, it's not a traditional character meal where he comes to every table. It's going to be more of like a pass by, walk through type of situation. So it's not a true character meal as you would think of one. But I do feel like it's worth noting, especially if you've got a mega Beauty and the Beast fan. It's a great option for something completely unique and different because it's just absolutely gorgeously themed inside of that castle. The next one, Cape May Cafe. Characters are only at breakfast for this one, and you will find Minnie, Daisy, Donald, and Goofy there. The next one on our list of alphabetical character meals here, Chef Mickey's at the Contemporary Resort. Breakfast and dinner only for this one. And you will find Mickey, Minnie, Pluto, Donald, and Goofy. Now, I should mention that at some of these character meals, you will find that the characters are dressed to the theme, right? So Cape May Cafe, you're going to find more beachy kind of outfits on your characters. Chef Mickey's, they're all dressed up as chefs and waiters and waitresses, so cute little outfits with that. The next one that we've got here, this is a more traditional dress one, and that is Cinderella's Royal Table at the Magic Kingdom. This is inside the castle. So this is a very high-end experience that you can pay for. And you will find this at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And they also have rotating princesses. So you will find a combination of Cinderella, Ariel, Aurora, Merida, and Jasmine here at this location. The next one is one of my personal favorites, and that is Crystal Palace, also at the Magic Kingdom. This is a breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you will find Pooh Bear, Piglet, Eeyore, and Tigger. And this is one of my all-time favorite character meals. I think it's just so cute inside, and I love these characters. So that's a personal favorite of mine. Next on our list of character meals, Garden Grill at Epcot. This is breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Here you will find Mickey, Pluto, Chip, and Dale. Hollywood and Vine at Hollywood Studios is lunch and dinner. You will find Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, and Pluto there. Another one that is near and dear to my heart is Ohana. This is at the Polynesian Resort. Characters are only at breakfast at Ohana, and you will find Lilo, Stitch, Mickey, and Pluto at that one. So if you've got a Lilo and Stitch person, that is your top choice for sure. Next, we have one that I think a lot of people don't realize exists. And that is Ravello's over at the Four Seasons Resort. So a little bit out of your way when you're thinking about Disney resorts and character meals in the parks and things like that. But it is Ravello's at the Four Seasons. Characters here are at breakfast only and only on select days. So it's like a Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, or something like that. So definitely look up what days they are available because it's not an everyday thing. But over there you will find Mickey, Minnie, and Goofy. Storybook Dining at Artist Point is next on our list. They are dinner only. This one is really unique because it's a completely different set of characters, right? You've heard me talking about a lot of these have Mickey, Minnie, different combinations of the Fab Five or Fab Six. This one is totally different. So at Storybook Dining, you get the Evil Queen, which is I believe the only villain that is at a character meal. You get Snow White, you get Dopey, and you get Grumpy. So that is a completely unique, different set of characters for a really fun experience over there. Two more on our list here. This next one is my all-time favorite character breakfast, and that is Topolino's Terrace, Surprising Nobody. This one I have raved about for years on Mom Street. Kate had raved about it when she was on Mom Street. It is our absolute favorite. It is at Disney's Riviera Resort. Characters are breakfast only over there, and that will be Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Daisy, and they are in the cutest outfits because they are all different forms of art. So, Mickey is a painter, Daisy is a ballerina, Minnie is a writer, and Donald is a sculptor, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. But such a great experience over there. Amazing food, top-notch characters, super fun, and a great view because it's top of that Riviera Resort. Just amazing. And the final, let me try that again. And the final character meal on our list is Tusker House. That is at Animal Kingdom, and it is breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And that is Mickey, Daisy, Donald, and Goofy over there. So again, that is just your quick rundown of who is where when it comes to character meals. And again, if you want more information about character meals, take a look back in our archives. We've covered dining and talked all about character meals. So take a look at that. But that kind of is the first segment to our character hunting at Walt Disney World. The next segment that we are going to jump into is going to be the parks. So we're going to talk about what characters are at what parks after we just take a quick coffee break because coffee. Hi, guys. Thanks for joining. I saw several of you pop in. Jules and Kathy. Hi, Kathy. I'm glad you made it. And hi, Vinny. I am staying warm. Don't worry about being late. Vinny, I took your idea for today. We're talking about characters, my friend. Thank you for the suggestion. I'm just looking to see. Oh my gosh, Sarah, have you never done a character meal? Sarah, they are so much fun. Oh, Jules, that would be so fun. That feels very you. I think that you would enjoy your time with the Evil Queen over there. I have not done that one, but I've heard really good things, so cannot wait till your nephews are a little older. You can take them to do character breakfast. Oh my gosh, my first character breakfast that I did with my oldest, we did Chef Mickey's, and I have the best photo of, he was still like figuring out the characters, because let's see, he was 2.5. He still, or no, not quite. He was not quite 2. Sorry. He was like 20 months. And he was still kind of figuring out characters, right? And we went to Chef Mickey's, and he loved Mickey. Like, all things Mickey were his jam. But we went there, and I've got the best photo of him sitting on Andrew's lap, and Mickey just made him giggle, and it's just so cute. So, like, I feel like every age, as long as they are, like, at least somewhat aware of their surroundings, is so good for character meals. And they follow the under 3 is free. So under 3 can eat off your plate for free, which is so, so much fun. Because coffee. Yes, exactly. Oh my gosh, Sarah. Yes, Sarah, we should do one. If we can make my next trip work where you guys are going to be around, we should try and do one. And we can take Pocket Fam with us. Your nephews are 2 and 1 right now. Yes, you are right in that first little sweet spot. I think that would be so much fun, Taylor. Yeah, and especially, I mean, those characters they're trained, to interact with littles. So, super fun. And I like, at that age too, Taylor, I really like the buffets for littles, because then even though they're eating for free, so they're off your plate, but like you can get them their own plate. And a lot of the times, number one, the buffet will have a kids area that has like all of the kid friendly spaces. And then number 2, you have the ability to go back and continue to get the foods that they like, right? So like if you're going for breakfast at Crystal Palace and your kiddo is kind of picky, but like that they'll eat pancakes, great. Get a plate of pancakes, let them eat that. If they still want more, you can go back and get more pancakes. So I think that the buffet ones are really good. That's why I like Crystal Palace so much. Chef Mickey's is really hit or miss. The characters there are great, but I think there are better ways to see Mickey. So, okay, Sarah. Guess I'm going to Disney this summer. I guess you have to, Taylor. It's a requirement. They have to go. Exactly, see? All right, let's talk about characters in the parks here, friends. I just spilled coffee down the side of my cup. Whoops. Okay. I'm going to try to make this not super boring where I'm just listing off characters here. Yes, Crystal Palace does have the churro waffles. They do. They're like little Mickey head churro waffles. They are delicious. I had them. I went to Crystal Palace with Katie and Becca uh back almost a it was my first trip that I took with my AP. So last April. Gosh, it's already been a year. We went to Crystal Palace and we hit it just right unintentionally. We got monsooned on, and so we were late. And we ended up later than we were supposed to be, but it meant that we got breakfast and lunch on the buffet, which was the good move. But we did get to try the churro waffles. They were very good. Oh my gosh, Jules. I'm so sorry, my friend. That sounds really hard. I'm so sorry. I'm sending you good vibes. People never know where characters are or where to find them on the app, so this is so helpful. That's the goal. So, okay. Yes, we got drenched. We got absolutely sopping wet. It was an experience, let me tell you what. It was perfect, Becca. Even though we were freezing and wet, we had the best time. We had the best time. So, it was good. And it was perfect that we got breakfast and lunch. It was lovely. So, of course, Jules. Let us know if we're here to talk to. If you need anyone, let us know if we can help in any way. Okay. Big deep breath. So ready for your trip. I bet. All right. So let's talk about the parks. We're going to start with the big one, which is Magic Kingdom. Although I will say, as I was going through here and like actually listing out all of the characters that are at all of these parks, I was reminded about how many other parks also have just as many characters as Magic Kingdom does. So let's talk about Magic Kingdom. And I'm going to kind of separate these into areas in each of the parks just to make it a little bit easier to like visualize and digest for those of you that are familiar with the parks. So starting at Magic Kingdom, let's start at Main Street, right where you walk in. Mickey, of course, meets over to the side in Town Square Theater. That is a permanent meet and greet there for him. And I will say before I jump in too far, I will talk a little bit about like rotating meet and greets, roaming characters, and like permanent meet and greet spaces. So that way you guys can kind of differentiate between the three. And then also like right around the corner from where Mickey is, there is like a little porch area where they also have started doing more character meet and greets. And it typically rotates between Snow White, Elena of Avalor, and Mulan. So you can typically meet one of those there. Now, you will typically find the characters there that are not currently in another location that I'm going to talk about here in just a moment. So those are your Main Street official character meet and greets there. Occasionally you will find characters in the morning, like around the flagpole or kind of off to the side, but nothing is like set in stone for those. But sometimes you will find Pluto out front. Sometimes you'll find Mary Poppins out front. Marie has been out front. It just really depends on the day and kind of what time you get there. Typically early morning is best for some of those characters there as well. But let's hop back to Fantasyland, where we are going to find the majority of our characters here at Magic Kingdom. You can find the evil stepsisters from Cinderella, Anastasia and Drizella, behind the castle near the Cinderella fountain. So if you are approaching the castle either to go through or to go around, they are on the back left-hand side of the castle near that fountain area. They are a super fun character meet and greet because they're so animated and energetic and they interact with people walking by. Super, super fun. Now let's talk about some of the more permanent ones. Well, I guess that one is permanent, but let's talk about one of the other locations, and that is the Princess Fairy Tale Hall. This is the big princess character meet and greet at Magic Kingdom. This is the location that I was mentioning. Up at the front, you might find Snow White, Elena, or Mulan, but you may also find those characters rotated into Princess Fairy Tale Hall. So if you see a character out front in the park, they're obviously not going to be inside Princess Fairy Tale Hall. So you can kind of gauge who may be where based on that. But typically they rotate between Tiana, Cinderella, Elena of Avalor, Rapunzel, and Jasmine. Sometimes, again, Snow White is back in there. You don't see Mulan in that space as often, but it definitely can happen. So that is Princess Fairy Tale Hall right there near the carousel, between kind of the castle and where like the Winnie the Pooh ride is back there. Another fun character that I just was mentioning with the Winnie the Pooh ride, if you go around the corner even further past the entrance to the Winnie the Pooh ride, you will find the Thoughtful Spot, which is where Pooh and Tigger meet right next to the ride. That is a very popular meet and greet. One, because the characters are popular, but two, because it's very visible from the walkways, so a lot of people like to stop there. So that is a super fun one that you can meet at. On the other side of Fantasyland, if we're looking at another popular attraction, Peter Pan's Flight, around the corner from that, you can find Peter Pan meeting over there as well. You will also sometimes find Peter Pan roaming around Fantasyland before his like official sets start. So that can be a fun interaction as well. He's a great character to kind of see in passing as you're walking around as well. A couple others that are a little more permanent kind of back in that space. If we head back to the back of Fantasyland, we will find Ariel's Grotto next to her ride. So obviously that is where you will find the OG version of Ariel meeting back there. And then over by the teacups, kind of on that same side of Fantasyland, you will often find Alice and the Mad Hatter meeting over there too. And their meet and greet is a little more... it doesn't have like a set location. They kind of just meet in between the planters over there. So just keep an eye out for those character attendants. They typically have a blue top on, and you can find them. They are the ones that help wrangle the masses that want to meet the characters and help guide the characters safely in and out of backstage. So if you see one of those cast members, chances are good there's going to be a character not too far away. Unless it's Peter Pan, he likes to outrun his character attendants, so you never know with that one for sure. The other ones that are back in that space, kind of down from the teacups back towards the hub area, you can find Mirabelle in the Fairy Tale Garden area. So that meet and greet is kind of across from the side entrance of Cosmic Rays, down from the Cheshire Cat Cafe, kind of triangulated down from the Wishing Well and the castle. So it's kind of that general area where you will find that one. That is a very popular meet and greet as well. I mean, all of these are, let's be real, fabulous characters that you can meet. And then the last one kind of back into the Fantasyland area is back in Storybook Circus near like Dumbo and the Barnstormer. Now, this area is currently being refurbished. But back there you can find Minnie, Daisy, Donald, and Goofy in some way, shape, or form. They do have like a set meet and greet back in Pete's Silly Sideshow building. But like I said, it is being refurbed right now, so keep an eye on that and look around. But they did have some characters out in some of the other like tent pavilion areas to kind of make up for that construction that's happening back there right now. But that is kind of a quick rundown of who you will find in Fantasyland. Now, I will also mention in Fantasyland last summer, 2025, and returning back for the summer of 2026, Disney does an event called the Cool Kids Summer. And in this event, during the early morning, early hours, what do they call it now? I don't even remember. I can't keep it straight. But those early entry hours for your resort guests back in Fantasyland, they had tons of characters roaming around. So we actually were on a trip during this and were able to take advantage of this. And just by walking from the teacups down to Peter Pan, just walking that straight path through there, we saw Rapunzel and Flynn Rider. We saw Mickey. We saw Captain Hook and Smee. We saw Elena of Avalor. Who else did we see? There were some other princesses wandering around. We saw Tiana and Naveen. And that was all literally within a like 15-minute period. So if you are somebody that is planning a trip during the summer, keep an eye out for that event to start. I'm not sure the start date off the top of my head, and I apologize I didn't look it up before that. It's probably near the Memorial Day time frame, kind of. And it kind of ran like Memorial Day to Labor Day last year, if I remember correctly. But you will want to keep an eye on that event because it will be, it's just so much fun. My kids opted for meeting the characters instead of jumping on rides during early entry. Like, we were full on ready to like jump on Seven Doors Mine Train, and they were both like, no, we want to go see the characters. It was such a fun event because it was also not super crowded, because during early entry everybody is pretty ride focused, right? So there weren't a ton of people walking around. And my favorite interaction with my oldest happened. He had like a crossbody bag on, and when we stopped and talked to Flynn and Rapunzel, Flynn was very interested in what my oldest had in his satchel, and it was just a super fun character interaction. It was so magical. So it is a great event. If you are planning a trip this summer, keep an eye on that back in Fantasyland. So let's talk about the other areas of Magic Kingdom that you can find characters. There are a few over in Tomorrowland. You can find Chip and Dale now roaming in Tomorrowland in these adorable little like space outfits. They're very cute, very themed. And then Stitch meets over kind of you can find him a couple different places. He kind of does rotate a little. You can find him near the stage area of Tomorrowland. You can also find him over like past the entrance queue to Buzz Lightyear, kind of between the queue lines of Buzz Lightyear and Carousel of Progress over along there. So two different places that you can find Stitch over in Tomorrowland. Over in Adventureland on the other side of the park, you can find Aladdin and Jasmine meeting over by the Magic Carpets of Aladdin. That is a super fun meet and greet as well. Definitely a very popular one, so keep in mind to look for that one. And then you can also find Captain Jack Sparrow meeting kind of around the corner from the Pirates of the Caribbean ride over there as well. And then in Frontierland, the character meet and greet that you find over there. Now, Chip and Dale used to be over there, but they got shipped over to Tomorrowland, but you can still find the Country Bears out roaming around out in front of their attraction. So they're a super fun one, and if you have the right timing, you can catch their little hoedown dance that they do out front of Country Bears as well. But they are more of a roaming character, not a set meet and greet over there. And I do just want to mention that along with looking for these characters in the app like we talked about at the beginning, you want to make sure that you look at their times. And if it's a character that you really want to meet, you want to make sure your best bet is to line up like 20 minutes before their time slot happens. So let's say that you really want to meet Mirabelle in Fairy Tale Gardens, and she has a set time that starts at 9:20. You want to make sure you're in line no later than 9 o'clock to make sure that you are there for that. Now, occasionally you can get lucky. Some of these have longer waits, some of them have shorter waits. It really just depends, but the character attendants will cut off those lines to give those characters a break. So you want to make sure that you are jumping in line and ready to go for those characters that you do want to meet. So that is the general list for Magic Kingdom. Again, a pretty lengthy list for this park, but we're going to hop over now to Animal Kingdom. That does have a smaller list, but there's also a ton of construction going on over at Animal Kingdom right now. So let's keep that in mind as we look at this list. Oh, I gotta get my foot out. My foot fell asleep. Ah! Hi, Allie Beth. Okay. Allie Beth's in New York City. That's so fun. Okay. So let's talk about the characters that are currently at Animal Kingdom. Starting with the Oasis, which is kind of like the first entry point that you have for Animal Kingdom right after you go in through the tap styles. And there is where you will find Pluto meeting. So he's kind of off to the side, hidden in one of the paths that is along kind of You can kind of go left or right as you go around that to get towards the Tree of Life and towards the park, but you will find Pluto out in the Oasis. Now, on Discovery Island, which is kind of like the main central hub of Animal Kingdom, lots of characters here. A couple of them are set locations, a couple of them are roaming. So you can find Mickey and Minnie in their safari gear at the Adventurers Outpost. You can find a new meet and greet that is happening now that the new Zootopia show has opened at Animal Kingdom. You can meet Nick Wilde and Judy Hopps. They have taken over the location where Russell and Doug used to be, but Russell and Doug have relocated. They are still available, but that is a super fun new meet and greet that you can enjoy at Animal Kingdom. Again, like I said, Russell and Doug are still available to meet. Moana is available to meet, and Pocahontas. So those are going to be your kind of set meet and greets. And then one of the most iconic roaming character meet and greets is Kevin from Up over at Animal Kingdom. So you will find her walking around lots of different places, kind of as you are approaching the Tree of Life. She's typically over on the right-hand side of the Discovery Island area, kind of as you're going towards what is currently Dino Land, but set to be the Tropical Americas here before too long. So that is where you will kind of find her wandering around, and she is a super fun character to interact with as you are walking through the pathways of Animal Kingdom for sure. The other main area to find characters is actually at Rafiki's Planet Watch, and this one is not a very heavily visited area. Because you have to take the Wildlife Express train to get there. So keep in mind that this train does typically stop running an hour and a half to 2 hours before park closes. So you want to definitely leave yourself enough time to get out there and experience what is all out there. That's where currently the petting zoo and the Animation Academy drawing classes out there. There are some changes coming out there soon, which we'll talk about here in just a second. But currently you can meet Timon and Rafiki out there, which super, super fun. Meeting Rafiki is a pretty great character meet and greet. He's a super fun character to find out there. And who doesn't love Timon from The Lion King, right? But like I mentioned, there are some updates and new things coming to that area of Animal Kingdom this summer. We got the official word from Disney Parks that Bluey and Bingo from the show Bluey are coming out to that area this summer. So keep an eye on more updates for that. They haven't specifically said exactly what's going to happen, other than we know that Bluey and Bingo are going to be out in that area. So if you are someone that is going this summer, keep an eye on Disney Parks blog. They're the best news source when it comes to all of the updates and things that are happening at the Disney parks. So Bluey and Bingo are coming very soon out there. Not sure what that means for Rafiki, Timon, the petting zoo, the drawing class. That remains to be seen. So we'll find that out soon, hopefully. And that pretty much wraps up Animal Kingdom. Like I said, they are going under a ton of construction currently for the next couple days as I'm recording this. There are still some character meet and greets over in Dino Land, but that is coming to an end here in the next several days, sadly, to make room for more of the construction going on for the Tropical Americas. I do envision that we will probably get some meet and greets over there once Encanto is done. Because of the Encanto ride. I'm hoping maybe we get Mirabelle or Bruno. Bruno has been in the parks. Maybe we get Isabella and Louisa. They've been over in Disneyland, so maybe they bring them over. That would be so awesome if we get them over there. So fingers crossed, Disney, if you're listening, we want Encanto characters for meet and greets once Tropical Americas opens. But for now, that is what you can find at Animal Kingdom. Gonna get a little bit more coffee before we jump into Hollywood Studios. It has the biggest list of them all. Are we talking about Hamilton? I love Hamilton. I love Hamilton. Good choice. Wait, what is Allie Beth? What are you going to see? Oh, Cursed Child. Nice. I thought you were going to see Hamilton. I was like, I'm jealous. I love me some Hamilton. Cassie, you saw Hamilton in Columbus. I saw Hamilton in Cleveland. Like, oh gosh. 8 years ago? Almost. Crazy. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Okay. Let's talk about Hollywood Studios. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. All right. I feel like you have to research Hamilton to really appreciate its genius. Yeah, I learned, Cassie, I listened to the soundtrack a lot before I saw it, so I had most of the songs already memorized. You saw Hamilton on Broadway with the original cast? Oh my gosh, Vinny. That's amazing. That is like the ultimate Broadway theater flex. That's wild. I'm so jealous. You saw it like 4 years ago. Nice, Taylor. That's so fun. Super fun. I love it. Okay. Whew, let's talk about Hollywood Studios, shall we? Okay. So, Hollywood Studios. This park really, once I wrote down all of the characters that were available at this park, really surprised me and reminded me how many characters they have crammed into this park. So while I always say that Hollywood Studios is not a super great park for littles, because they do have so many thrill rides, so many rides with height requirements, things like that, they truly have so many characters. So let's jump in and see if we can keep them all straight and figure out where they all belong. Again, we're going to talk about where they are based on location. Some of these locations are a little niche, so I will give clarity and context as much as I can. But when we enter Hollywood Studios, we are on Hollywood Boulevard. That is the one that leads us straight to the Chinese Theater. And down kind of closer to the theater, you will find Chip and Dale. They have kind of been there for a while, but there are some new character meet and greets that are happening around that kind of plaza area, and these popped up shortly after the courtyard kind of over near Little Mermaid, where Star Wars Launch Bay and the Disney Junior dance party were. When that closed, these characters kind of popped up. So I don't know if they're here to stay once that reopens, and that's supposed to be reopening like summer, I think. So fairly quick turnaround over there. So I don't know if these will stay, but currently you can find Jiminy Cricket, you can find Pinocchio, you can find Mary Poppins, and you can find Bert all over in that area. So super fun, really kind of more rare characters. You don't typically see Pinocchio ever. And Jiminy Cricket, you really only see him at like Run Disney events or like special after hours events, things like that. And Mary Poppins and Bert are over there as well, which is super, super fun. And then over on the Echo Lake side, which is over kind of near Gertie, is where you will find Daisy and Donald. They meet over kind of right in front of the big statue of Gertie. And then over a little bit further into the Echo Lake space by Star Tours, that is where you will now find Darth Vader. So he used to be on the opposite side of the park in Launch Bay, but they have moved him over to the Star Tours queue for the time being. Again, not sure how long he's going to stay there or if he will be relocated again after that construction is done. That remains to be seen, but that is where you can currently find him. Now, if we talk about Grand Avenue, which is the road that kind of goes by where Muppets, R.I.P., where Muppets was, that is where you will find Goofy, Max, and Pluto. So those are characters that meet over in that space, kind of between the end of Star Tours and where the entrance to Galaxy's Edge over on that side is, if that makes sense, kind of in that space over there. If we kind of circle back towards the center of the park on Commissary Lane, that is where you will find the building that houses Olaf and Minnie and Mickey. So Olaf, you can enter from the you can enter from the like Backlot Express side of that. If you want to see Olaf, he's on that side of the building. If you want to see Mickey and Minnie in their like fancy, Minnie is in like her fancy red carpet. I just hit my microphone. Minnie is in her little like fancy red carpet dress, and that is Sorcerer Mickey over there. They are on the opposite side of the building, so you can enter to see them closer to like what is that, Sci-Fi that's right there down from ABC Commissary. So hopefully that helps you kind of triangulate that location. But both of those are available, and those are like inside building, permanently available there. Moving to kind of the back side of the Chinese theater, in the animation courtyard area, which is directly behind the theater, you will find the live action version of Ariel doing a meet and greet back there. And then as you continue kind of around towards Toy Story Land, but don't quite go to Toy Story Land yet, if you hit the Pixar Plaza area, which is where the old entrance to Toy Story Mania used to be, kind of the back side of that building, down from the little marketplace and coffee stands that are right there. That is where you will find a ton of Pixar characters. So Edna Mode has an inside meet and greet in the one building in there. Mr. and Mrs. Incredible are often meeting out in the Courtyard Plaza along with Frozone. You can also find Sully from Monsters, Inc. in that area, and Joy from Inside Out. So if you've got a Pixar kiddo, that is their spot for characters. You will find so many. And a lot of the times, if you just like go into that plaza and you just look from side to side, you can see all of those characters all in one spot. So a really, really good place for lots of characters in kind of a close proximity when it comes to that. Now, after you've got your Pixar fill there, let's go into Toy Story Land. Again, I told you, so many characters in Hollywood Studios because I still have like a third of the list left to read. So inside Toy Story Land, you will find Buzz Lightyear meeting, and you will find Woody and Jessie. Buzz is usually near the entrance. Sometimes Woody is out there. It just depends. And then Woody and Jessie typically meet in the little, there's like a little, I don't know, alcove of sidewalk kind of right past the entrance to Toy Story Mania. And they will typically have people line up there to meet Woody and Jessie, usually together. Sometimes they are separate. It just depends on the timing and kind of where everybody is for the day for that. So that's kind of your Pixar rundown of where to meet all of those characters, as well as, you know, Mickey and Minnie and Goofy and all of those other characters as well. The last area of Hollywood Studios that we need to talk about is Galaxy's Edge. Now, here's the thing about characters in Galaxy's Edge. There are no official character meet and greets on Batuu, which is Galaxy's Edge, because, and you've heard us talk about this before on Mom Street, especially when we did some of our Star Wars episodes with Stevie, it is intended for that space to be an immersive on-world experience. So it's supposed to be like you are truly visiting Batuu. So that way you feel like you are on the planet, you are immersed in their surroundings and all of that. So because of that, there are no official character meet and greet locations or spaces on Batuu, because those characters just exist as people on this planet. They are not celebrity movie characters like they would be to us coming from the outside. So all of these characters that exist here are all roaming characters. They are not someone that is specifically at a meet and greet location where they're stopped to take pictures with people. So they are always roaming when it comes to all of these characters inside of Batuu. Now, let's talk about what characters you can find. You can find the Stormtroopers. They are often roaming around various locations inside of Batuu. You can find Kylo Ren. Now, you will see times for Kylo Ren because there is like a little show kind of that happens near his ship, right by the milk stand, kind of down around the corner from the Millennium Falcon. So there are times for him, but that it is not a true meet and greet. But you can find Kylo Ren and the Stormtroopers. You can find Rey. She is a couple different places at a couple different times. Just kind of have to keep an eye out for her. Same with Chewbacca. He tends to stand a little bit more still, either by the Millennium Falcon or over on the other side of the ship, where the other ships are on the other side, kind of near, if you're coming from Toy Story Land, those first ships that are on the left-hand side as you enter through into Batuu. He does tend to stand a little bit more still, so does Rey, but they're still not official meet and greets, so just keep that in mind. You can also find Vi Marathi, which if you have listened to any of our Star Wars episodes that we've talked about, she is a super fun character. She's a little harder to spot because she's supposed to be, in her character, she's supposed to be kind of like, scoping out and spying and checking on what's going on. So, but she's a super fun to interact with. And then the big one, the big draw of characters inside of Galaxy's Edge is, of course, the Mandalorian and Grogu. You can find them on the end of the marketplace, kind of on the Rise of the Resistance side. So if you're going towards Rise of the Resistance, the ride, that end of the marketplace near like the bathrooms and the water fountains, out that side is where you will typically find him. Now, that being said, let's talk just briefly about etiquette around the Mandalorian and Grogu, because it is very well known that at all of his sets, he gets swarmed by people. So please, just a kind reminder to give them space. They will approach you. They will interact with you. They are happy to do so, but give them space. Don't crowd them. Keep your bubble. Let them keep theirs. So keep that in mind when you are looking for the Mandalorian and Grogu for sure. Okay, I think that is the end of our Hollywood Studios list. Again, like I said, that park definitely has the most characters. I didn't do an official count of how many there were, but I would say Epcot comes in very close behind, as does Magic Kingdom. But I believe, at first glance, Hollywood Studios has the most. So definitely a great character park if those characters that I mentioned are ones that you like. I will also mention that Fantasmic at Hollywood Studios has a ton of characters too. So again, not a meet and greet, definitely, more of the show where you can see them, but tens and 20s of characters at that show at Hollywood Studios. So something to keep in mind as well. That can also be said for shows and parades at Magic Kingdom as well. Again, another great place to see characters, even if you're not doing official meet and greets with them too. Okay. We are on to our final park here in our character hunting at Walt Disney World. So let's talk about Epcot. Now, Epcot has a ton of characters. They are far more spread out than any of the other parks, just because of the nature of so many of them being out in World Showcase. They're a little trickier to get between, and you kind of have to definitely have a game plan going into your time out in World Showcase if you are aiming to meet characters, because it will be very easy to miss sets or backtrack or walk all over the place when it comes to World Showcase. It's easy to do that anyway, even if you're not looking for characters. So definitely plan accordingly. But before we get to World Showcase, let's talk about the front of the park of Epcot. So in the World Celebration area, which is that new central located area in the front of the park of what used to be Future World, you will find a couple different characters. You will find Pluto typically meeting right at the front of the park near Spaceship Earth. So as you enter the park, he's going to be off to the right-hand side, and you're going to be able to see him before you even get to Spaceship Earth. He's just right in that first little space off to the right-hand side. Typically Pluto there. As you go further in to World Celebration, inside of the one side of Communicore Hall, you will find the Mickey and Friends meet and greet. Now, this is always going to be Mickey that is inside this meet and greet, but the other two are going to rotate. So it just depends on when you get there and who is in there at that time. Like I think we saw Minnie and we saw Goofy when we went in there. So it's just kind of someone in the Fab Five is who you're going to see inside of there. And then the other one that is technically still in World Celebration is Figment inside of his Imagination Pavilion. So the exit of Figment is where you're going to find that meet and greet if that is one that is important to you. Very, very fun, popular, newer meet and greet over at Epcot. On the same side as Figment in the World Nature area, you will find a Moana meet and greet, and that is near the entrance to her ride. So, or not her ride, her attraction, her walkthrough experience. So you will find Moana over there near the exit of Journey of Water. And then if we go over to the other side of the park, over near, in World Discovery, over near Cosmic Rewind, you will find Star-Lord. Now, Star-Lord is a roaming character. He is not someone that is standing still to do a meet and greet. Moana is standing still. Figment, Pluto, Mickey, and Friends, they're all standing still. Star-Lord is not. He is a roaming character, and he will just kind of wander the plaza outside of Cosmic Rewind. So if you want to see him, that is where you need to hang out. He doesn't hang out super close to like the ship that's out front of the ride. He's a little bit further out typically, kind of out of that, because that area gets really congested, right? So he's a little bit further out from that area. And that kind of takes care of the characters you typically find in the front of Epcot. All of the other characters are going to be out in World Showcase. So let's kind of head out, and then we're just going to work our way around. We're going to go towards Mexico first. Don't read into it. We're not getting into the Mexico versus Canada debate. We're going left and we're going clockwise, okay? So as you go out into World Showcase, the first little area that you're going to come to is called the Port of Entry. And there's a little pavilion across from the Disney Traders store. And that is where you will actually find Asha from Wish. So that is a super unique, super rare, fun character meet and greet that you can find out in the kind of entryway of World Showcase. Now, as we head towards Mexico, you can find Donald Duck in his sombrero, three caballeros getup, if you will, over kind of just past the Mexico Pavilion. He's got a little spot that he meets over there. As we continue our way around, you get to the Norway Pavilion, and Anna and Elsa meet there. Now, if you're going the direction that I'm speaking about, the meet and greet is actually before you get to the ride and the main, like, area of the pavilion. So if you get to the ride, you've gone too far. Come back a little ways and you will find the entry to their to the Anna and Elsa meet and greet. I just knocked my headphone out of my ear. I gotta figure something else out because I keep bonking into my headphone today. Okay. I got the comments. I know, Sarah. It's still probably gonna happen. That's okay. I'll take it. Is that rage bait? It's unintentional rage bait. It's fine. So after you have met with Anna and Elsa, as you continue around a World Showcase, China Pavilion, you can meet Mulan back in there. And then over, as you continue, in the Germany Pavilion, you can find Snow White. She typically is a little more hidden back. She is not as much of a well-known character meet and greet out in World Showcase from what I have seen. And we just happened upon her. We were waiting for food at the festival booth that's right there and happened to see Snow White. So that was fun. As you continue around, the next location I want to talk about is a little bit different. And we haven't talked much about this because Epcot is really the park that you find this the most. And that is, there are no official character meet and greets in the America Pavilion. However, there is a pathway beside the Regal Eagle quick service in the America Pavilion that frequently has random unique characters because that is where they take the characters in training. So you can see a random mix of characters there for all of the new cast members that are in training. So new character attendants that are practicing their skills and kind of getting used to their role can be found there, as well as new character friends that are learning the role of that as well. So I've seen everyone from Mary Poppins, I've seen Mary Poppins Penguins, I've seen Jiminy Cricket, I've seen the Country Bears, I've seen so many a random assortment. Marie has been over there. I've seen, I don't even remember, but lots of different characters in that location. So if you're wandering around and you're making your loop through World Showcase, be sure to stop and like look down, because they're not going to be all the way out in the pathway unless you look that direction into that like alleyway. You're not going to see them. But now sometimes they will have cast members that are like standing out in the main walkway saying like, hey, we've got some character friends if you want to come and meet them. Not always, it just really depends. But lots and lots of fun characters that you can find over in that space. The last time I went through there, who did I interact with? Smee. Smee was there. And I didn't, do a photo or an autograph or anything, but I just like stopped and interacted with Smee for a little while I was walking through World Showcase. That was super fun. So keep that in mind, that if you're looking for fun, unique characters, and you're willing to help out some new cast members in training, that's a fun place to stop and look for those. Continuing our way that was not the right sentence. Continuing our way clockwise around World Showcase, we will come to the Morocco Pavilion, and Jasmine has a meet and greet back in the Morocco Pavilion. That is a super fun pavilion to explore, by the way. They've got a lot of little hidden shops, and there's like a little drink cart, and they disconnected. Did you guys lose me for a minute there? That was weird. Did you guys hear what I said? Hopefully you heard what I said about Morocco. That was weird. I got like a little thing that said I was disconnected, and then I got another one that said I was reconnected. So hopefully that was fine. I'm going to go back and repeat what I said about Morocco. Okay, we're back. Okay, I don't know what happened. Yeah, we lost you. Okay, that was weird. I don't know what happened. My OBS was just like disconnected. Okay, cool. That's not fine, but sure. What did I say about Morocco? Yes, so the Morocco Pavilion, the Morocco Pavilion has tons of little fun walkways and things that you can explore back in that space and meet Jasmine. As we continue around, now you're lagging and we can't hear you. Okay, I'm going to continue to talk and pause and see what happened. I don't know why that did that. I don't know what happened with my OBS. So let me know if I'm back. Let me know if we're good, because I don't want to continue the end of this episode without it recording. It still says I'm recording. It still says that it says I'm good again now. So, okay. Sarah saying I'm good. I guess if I'm not good, then exit and come back. Okay. Thank you, Sarah. I'm going to keep going. Good. Okay. Thank you, Cassie. Okay. After you exit the Morocco Pavilion, you're going to come upon France. 2 different character meet and greets in France that you can find. The one is going to be kind of across on the water side of France, and that is Belle in her blue dress, in her provincial town Belle dress. So if you want that version of Belle, you can meet her there. The other one is going to be Aurora, and she is in a little like gazebo area, kind of on the far side of the France Pavilion that is along the walkway. If you're taking the back walkway to get to Remy's, that is the way that you will find Aurora over there. So 2 different meet and greets in the France Pavilion that you can find. After that, you're going to head over the bridge back towards the front area of World Showcase. But before you get to the UK, there's one more area I want to talk about, and that is the International Gateway entrance. So this is the second entrance, the back entrance to Epcot, where the Skyliner and like the Yacht and Beach Club and Boardwalk are. Along the pathway that is between the entrance gate and like the main path of World Showcase, they have characters that meet there. Daisy is frequently over there, but note, this is also another place where you will find those characters in training. So we talked about that at the America Pavilion. You can also find that at this International Gateway entrance, where you may find some other characters with Daisy. I've seen the stepsisters there. I've seen Minnie there. There's lots of other characters that kind of pop in there as well. So those two places are really good for fun, unique characters if you're at Epcot. After you have hit the International Gateway area, you're going to be in the UK Pavilion. 3 different meet and greets that you can find in the UK Pavilion. The first 2 rotate back and forth, and they are in the little garden area that's off to the side, and that is Alice from Alice in Wonderland and Mary Poppins. So they both will meet kind of right near, there's like there's a little building, and then there's like a little what do you call it, like a trellis archway that is in that garden, that tea garden area. They typically meet like right in that space, so kind of right along the pathway. Pretty easy to spot them. But then the other one in the UK is my absolute favorite character meet and greet, and I did not intentionally leave my favorite till the last. So it's just the way that ended up today. My favorite meet and greet is the Winnie the Pooh meet and greet inside the UK Pavilion. It's hidden back in the corner, and it is so magical and special, and I love it so much. So if you head to the very back courtyard of the UK Pavilion, near where the band will play sometimes back in there, on the very back side of that building is where you will find the Winnie the Pooh meet and greet. And it takes place in the scene that is inside Christopher Robin's bedroom. And it is just the most adorable and precious space. I love it so much back there. Pooh Bear is one of my absolute favorite characters, and I have had some really special interactions with Pooh back in that space. So that is a wonderful meet and greet. Usually has a very short line back there. So if you are a Pooh Bear fan and maybe the line at the Magic Kingdom was too long, now Pooh and Tigger meet together at Magic Kingdom, so that is different. This one at Epcot is just Pooh Bear. This is a great location for you to go and meet Pooh Bear if you choose to. So that is our list for Epcot, but before we end our episode for today, I do just briefly want to mention that from time to time, actually fairly often, you can actually run into some character magic at your Disney Resort hotel. So this happens a lot, where the characters will just pop up randomly at the Disney resorts. So keep an eye out in your main like lobby area for signs that talk about character experiences. And it may say like 3 to 5 on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or something like that. And that will tell you that you're going to have random characters popping up in your hotel lobby area. Sometimes they are by the front doors, like the entryways. I've seen them by like the bus stop, like walkways, kind of like going toward, like not at the bus stops, but like towards the bus stops. Really, really fun ways to have kind of just chance character experiences. They do hang out most frequently in the lobby areas. It really just depends. But you can also keep an eye out for, they have this big bus that they take the characters from place to place on that they call the character caravan. And it is a brightly colored bus that's got like different like squares of color on it and talks about characters or something on the outside. So that is another really great sign that the characters may be hanging around of the resort lobby that you're at. We actually had this happen. We were doing a Christmas tree excursion a couple trips ago with my family, and we saw the character bus out and about, and then we could see in a distance, we could see some of the characters, and that was over at the Contemporary. We just happened to be over there because we were looking at the gingerbread castle and the Christmas trees and stuff. So super fun. And yeah, Cassie in our live chat here makes a good point that they do come to the resorts, especially in bad weather. So like if you have if it's really bad, like almost hurricane wise, they definitely send characters out to the resorts there if people are kind of stuck and not able to go into the parks or whatever it may be. But yeah, they have a lot of, Disney is very aware of like, hey, it's raining outside. There's not a lot to do. So they'll send characters to different resorts at different times for those kinds of experiences. Super, super fun way to just happen upon some characters. This happened to us when we were on our last trip. We were at, where did we stay? We were at Art of Animation. And the one morning we were just walking through to go from our room to the bus stop to go to whatever park we were going to that day. And we just happened upon Pluto in the lobby. So, super, super fun. It's always a great experience when you just happen randomly upon characters. I think those are some of the most fun experiences that you can have with characters. So, all of that now being covered, I think that is the general overview of character hunting at Walt Disney World. Now, I will also mention we didn't go into any of the special events, right? There are always special characters at the Halloween parties, at the Christmas parties, after hours events, special ticketed events, Moonlight Magic. Those are the really rare characters that you will find. So if you're going to one of those events, do some quick Googling to see what characters have been found at some of those events in the past. But this is kind of just your general day to day. These are likely the characters that you can find at the Disney parks. Again, this is up to date as of the end of January of 2026. Things always change. So who knows, maybe we'll make this an annual update of characters episode that we do over here on Mom Street to give you guys the most up-to-date information. But your best place is going to be, like I said, your My Disney Experience app or checking the Disney World website if that is something that you are really looking forward to doing. You want to grab autographs and photos of characters. Listen to this and then check there too. So hopefully this was helpful to kind of put them all in one space for you. If you need any additional help planning a trip, or you've got questions or topics you'd like for us to cover here on Mom Street USA, we always want to hear from you. You can reach out to us, momstreetusa@gmail.com. You can find us at Mom Street USA on various social media platforms and on our Patreon. That is a really great place to get a hold of us. Put a comment up there on one of our posts if you've got questions or comments or suggestions. We would love to hear from you. But with that being covered, I think we've got some fun episodes coming up next. I think the next episode we're going to do, let me double check before I speak out of turn, because I was just doing some planning here. Let me see before I think it was Kirk who ran into Chip and Dale. Yes, it was like right at the bus stop. It was Kirk, Cassie, you're right. The next episode that we are going to do here on Mom Street is going to be all about catching a kid-approved vibe at Disney World and talking about places to chill and also the best play places. So that is coming up next on Mom Street USA. But for today, that is the end of our episode. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this episode of Mom Street USA, and I will see you on the next one. Bye, everyone. And scene. Pew. Stop recording. It didn't stop the recording. Stop recording. There, it stopped the recording. We did it. We did it. Huzzah. Oh my gosh, my leg is asleep. I need to stop sitting this way, and I do this every episode where I sit like crisscross on this couch because it's the comfiest way for me to sit. And then I get like halfway through and I'm like, my foot's asleep. And I'm like, I'm a dummy. I keep doing this and I keep letting my foot fall asleep every single time. That's okay. It is what it is, right? Thank you guys for hanging. Thank you guys for being here. I feel like we're finally getting into the swing and the vibe of like when we're recording and when we're live and when we're going to be where and all that kind of stuff. So I appreciate you guys. What is this doing? Oh my gosh. But thank you guys for being here. Why did my camera just go all blurry? I don't know what's going on. We're a mess over here. It's fine. But yes, I feel like we're finally getting into the swing of like when we're recording and when we're live and all of that kind of stuff. So it'll be good. But thank you guys. Thanks for hanging. Thanks for being here. And yeah, next week will be another Wednesday. Listen to me. I don't even know what day it is. My kids were off school all week. I have no clue what I'm doing. Next week will be another Friday live stream. And then the week after that, I know I need to stop pushing the buttons. You're so right, Cassie. And then after that, I have one more episode. And then after that, we have a special guest for our next episode. Actually, two special guests for our next episode. So I'm excited for that one. We're going to have Sarah and Ty on, and they're going to talk about taking pictures in the Disney parks. And I'm so excited for them to come and talk on Mom Street. It's going to be so fun. So that is what is coming up on our next couple episodes. But for today, I'm going to go see what is going on upstairs with my children and my husband, because I've been hearing all sorts of sounds from up above me as I'm chatting with you guys today. And I got a notification that my computer is dying because I was silly and I did not plug it in until like an hour before we were supposed to do this. So, you know, it's fine. We're good. We're making it work. So I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Friday. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Stay warm, stay safe, and I will talk to you guys all soon. Bye, everyone. Goodbye. I feel like I need to say an extended goodbye because the chat is so delayed on YouTube. Bye. I love you all. Goodbye. I'm nervous. Don't look at me. Oh, Sarah.